Hi, good evening. Welcome, everyone. I call to order the February 22nd meeting of the City of West Sacramento's Arts, Culture, and Historic Preservation Commission. The time is 6:02. And pursuant to the Governor's Executive Order N-2920, members of the West Sacramento Arts, Culture, and Historic Preservation Committee and staff will participate in this meeting via teleconference. To reduce the spread of COVID-19, members of the public are asked to watch the meeting telecast on Wave Cable, Channel 20, and to have submitted comments in writing by 5:00 p.m. on February 22nd, 2021. I'd like to ask the Commission Clerk to call the roll, please. Reminder commissioners that when your name is called, the appropriate response is here.
Thank you. Peggy Bell.
Here.
Thank you. Denise Domke.
Here.
Marva Diaz.
Here.
Cheryl Gleason. Harry Corwitz.
Here.
Raymond Perez.
Here.
Laura Sheridan.
Here.
Alicia Olson.
Here.
Thank you. We have a quorum.
Thank you so much. And now moving to the General Administration Functions Part 1, Section 1A is the Oath of Allegiance for Public Officers. I'd like to ask the Commission Clerk to take us through our oath.
Thank you. After the Oath of Allegiance is read and your name is called, please respond with either I agree or I disagree. Do you solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that you will take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that you will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which you are about to enter? Peggy Bell.
I do.
Denise Domke.
I do.
Marva Diaz.
I agree.
Harry Corwitz.
I do.
Thank you. Raymond Perez.
I agree.
Laura Sheridan.
I agree.
Alicia Olson.
I agree.
Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you so much. And now is a little time set aside for the commissioners to introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about why you're excited to participate as a commissioner on the Arts, Culture, and Historic Preservation Commission. So I can see all of you on my screen. If you'll either give me the blue hand or give me a wave, we'll move through the list. Raymond, go ahead. You volunteered, my friend.
Oh, I thought you wanted all of us to wave our hands. I said, okay. No, my name is Raymond Perez. I am I'm born and raised here in West Sacramento, 4th generation West Sacramentan. I work in public relations, and I am involved. I want to be involved, involved here in the city of West Sacramento and give back. And by befriending the mayor when she was a council member and now a mayor, I want to give back to West Sacramento any way that I can. And I thought was a good fit. And so that's why I'm on the commission.
Great, thank you. Who'd like to be next? Little wave, there you go. Peggy Bell.
Hi, everyone. I hope I'm unmuted. Okay, good. So I have first served with the city on Disaster Council and then Economic Development and Housing Commission. And now I am with you, and I'm excited to be with you. I think that this is in alignment with my service work. Not that I did not enjoy the economic development and housing. I just think that this is just a little bit of a better fit, and I'm excited about my adventures with you all and the good we will do in the city.
Great, thank you.
Hello.
Laura.
Yes, hi everyone. Laura Sheridan here. Well,
did start actually with a commission when I first moved to West Sacramento, which was 5 years ago. I'm a longtime Sacramento County resident, but I was appointed to the Environment and Utilities Commission, and I really enjoyed that work as well. But this, like others have said, is a better fit for my arts and theater background, which I bring in addition to a public policy career. I wanted to find a way to contribute some of my humanities and theater experience to this community. I'm very much looking forward to that and working with all of you.
Great, thank you so much. So Katie, I think we'll finish the introductions and then we'll go back and let you do the oath for Commissioner Gleason. Does that work for you?
Yes, that's
okay,
perfect.
great.
Thank you.
Okay, you're so welcome. Okay, who's next? Give me a little hi, Marva.
Hi, I'm Marva Diaz. I am originally from San Jose, went to UC Davis for undergrad, moved to Sacramento after graduation, and moved to West Sacramento about 3 years ago. I come from a musical family, lots of theater and everything. I myself played piano, flute, mostly saxophone, a little drums, and a little backup singing through college to get me through. And don't play anymore, but I miss it. But I've always loved the arts. I just got my first book published, a children's book, and I'm working on my second one being illustrated now. I love the art pieces that are around the city, and I just wanted to join the commission and kind of give back. I do love the art piece, but I'll be honest, the culture side of it is what was the most compelling for me to volunteer and be part of this commission. I have kind of a dream of bringing a tamale festival to West Sacramento and having, there used to be a tamale sort of festival. I called it Tamale Festival. It was more of a Mexican Heritage Festival in San Jose for years, and they stopped doing it. But it was really fun for my family. We all make tamales around Christmas time. I did talk to the mayor a little bit about maybe doing something here in West Sac around the September, early October month. And so that's kind of what's driving me, and that's what I'm looking forward to working on.
Great, thank you so much. Who would like to be next? Someone that we haven't heard from?
I'll go.
So we'll do Carrie, and then Cheryl will be after Carrie.
Okay. So hi, I'm Carrie Korwitz. I am a longtime resident of West Sacramento, born and raised here. I applied to be on this commission because I'm just retiring. I've worked for the school district for 30 years. So I've given a lot to the community through the school district. And now that I'm ending that part, I still wanted to be able to give back to the community and wanted to find a good fit of how to do that. And so I thought this would be a great way to get more involved in the city part of it, you know, since I've been involved so much in the district part of it. And hopefully bring some of my experience from working in the district and with, you know, many, many, many families and students in the district. And maybe the historian part of it, right? Since I've been here for 56 years. So I've watched West Sacramento grow into this amazing city. And so just looking forward to new experiences and new ways that I can be involved in our beautiful city, and look forward to learning more about the commission.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Karen. Cheryl, welcome.
Thank you so much, and I apologize, I was having some technical difficulties. So I apologize to everybody for being late. I am have been a resident of West Sacramento for 18 years now, and I went to UC Davis and got my undergrad in fine art and art history. And I have a master's degree in online education from Sac State. Good grief. Being late really flustered me. US Hayward. And I currently work in Rancho Cordova, and I do a lot for Rancho Cordova. And I've worked in Rancho Cordova for about 15 years now, and I run a arts and culture center. So I am in charge of the MAC, the Mills Station Art and Culture Center, and we are run off of a grant from the city. And so I do all of the programming, all of the social media, all of the budgeting, pretty much A to Z, kind of a one-woman show with some volunteers to help out. I've always been interested in art. I've lived in Arizona, Idaho, and California, and I love to travel and look at art everywhere I go. So I'm just kind of an art nut. So I wanted to give back to the community in which I live in because I give so much to Rancho Cordova. I've done leadership. I know quite a bit about how cities work and different things, but never been on a commission. So this will be interesting.
Great. Thank you so much. Welcome. Is everyone, I've lost track and should have kept a record of who spoke. Is there anyone left to speak?
I don't know if I'm supposed to say anything.
Well, yes, absolutely. You're a commissioner. Thank you.
I'm Alicia Olson. I have lived in West Sacramento for the past, I guess it's going on 9 years. And I am a registered architect here in the state of California. And so it is, the historic preservation part is obviously a part that I can, provide, my experience with. And then in addition, I grew up in ballet, so theatrical dance, and did a lot of art growing up. Do a lot of I like portraits, and I like drawing people too, in addition to buildings. So yeah, that's just a little bit about me. Thanks.
Great. Thank you so much, Alicia. And thank you all. Again, my name is Denise Domke, and my day job, I'm the CEO of the West Sacramento Chamber of Commerce. And I've lived in West Sacramento for over 20 years now. I love this town. I love this place because it feels like a place to me. I'm better in a community that has green space around it, that has a beginning and end. And this place has always felt like home. Had an opportunity to work with many of you. Carrie Courts, I'm looking at you. You just, Carrie did really excellent work on the second base home run internship program with Washington Unified, and retiring, we're going to miss you, but I was delighted to see you on this list, and many of you in many platforms. I've been on this commission. This commission was formed in 2003. I joined it in 2004. I applied for the commission this year because I love the work that we do. The arts are very important to me. Public art is very important to me, and especially accessible public art for a number of reasons. So it makes me smile when I see pieces that we've taken through the process and helped fund, and to see kiddos climbing all over them or people standing in awe. We on this commission, so I was part of the, I helped with the public art policy, and have worked with many, layers of staff. But I have to say that another reason that I was encouraged to rejoin this commission, or to at least apply to rejoin this commission, is that we are so lucky to be staffed by Parks and Recreation, by this group of really skilled people that, let's face it, are the fun people, right? Parks and Rec, they're the fun people. They get it. And they've done an excellent job. They have a lot of institutional knowledge about the work that we've done. And I'm looking forward to continuing. So thank you all so much. Katie, we're going to step back for a moment. I'll mute and everyone else will mute so that you could explain to Commissioner Gleason what's about to happen. This is where you learn the secret handshake, Cheryl, and you know, give her direction for her response.
Thank you, Commissioner Domke. Commissioner Gleason, after I read the oath of allegiance, you'll just agree, you'll respond with I agree or disagree to the duties that I outlined. Do you solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that you will take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that you will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which you are about to enter?
I will. I agree.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Great, thank you so much. Returning back to the agenda, we are now on agenda item 1C, selection of commission chair and vice chair. The process for this is we look at each, so it's two positions. We look at them separately and independently. You'll have an opportunity to, if you're interested in one of these positions, to give us a little insight into why you think you would be a good choice. And nominations are taken from the commissioners. There'll be for each seat and a second, and then there'll be a roll call vote. So the first, and I lost my place. The first selection, the first appointment would be for, our nominations would be for chair of the Arts, Culture, and Historic Preservation Commission. Peggy, go ahead.
I would like a motion to nominate you to be our chair.
I'd second that.
That was fast. Thank you. Thank you very much. I would be happy to serve. Is there anyone else that's interested in taking a role? Peggy, go ahead.
I would like to make a motion for Marva to be our vice chair.
So we will open that into so we're going to deal with the first nomination. And I really am very serious because my intention was to nominate Marva to chair. So are you interested in that at all, Marva? Is that a role you'd like to take?
Yeah, I'd be happy to serve as either chair or vice chair. Thank you.
Okay. So while I appreciate it very much, my plate is pretty full in this cycle as businesses come out of a pandemic mode and into economic growth and support. So I find myself sitting on a number. I will attend religiously and support in every way I can, but I find myself attending a lot of county and then regional conversations and boards. So Marva, if you're willing to do that, then I would like to nominate Commissioner Diaz to chair the Arts, Culture, and Historic Preservation Commission. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Whoops, somebody give me a hand so I can see who made it. Okay. Oh, 3 of you. So seconded by Commissioner Gleason. And if the clerk would call a roll call, please.
Thank you. Commissioner Bell?
Yes, aye.
And Commissioner Korwitz?
Aye.
Commissioner Perez?
Aye.
Commissioner Sheridan?
Aye.
Commissioner Olson? Okay, Commissioner Olson, as she was an alternate member, I believe she, since we had a quorum, she dropped off after the beginning of the allegiance. So that motion should carry. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
You're so welcome. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. And now we will take nominations and conversation among us for anyone that's interested in participating as a vice chair.
I would like to perform those duties if I could have the confidence of others.
And tell us a little bit about why you're well suited for that.
Well, I believe because I'm familiar with the commission process, having served a term on a different commission though. So attending all the meetings and knowing the script, if you will, in case Ms. Diaz is not available. And I believe one thing that struck me is we have similar backgrounds in the arts and music. So if you're looking for someone with a different background, I might not be the best choice, but I think because we have a similar background, we could work pretty well together on that.
Great. Is there anyone else that's interested in the position or has another nomination? Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Thank you, Commissioner Perez. A roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner Domke?
Aye.
Chair Diaz?
Aye.
Commissioner Gleason?
Aye.
And Commissioner Corwitz?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. And so this is the part, Chair Diaz, where I step away, hand you the virtual gavel, and you take us through the rest of this meeting. Nice job, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate that. I was not expecting that, but it's very flattering, and I will. I look forward to doing these duties. Thank you. So I believe that would take us then to item 1D on the agenda, presentations by the public on matters not on the agenda.
And we have not received any public comment. We do not have any outside visitors for this meeting tonight.
Thank you. Next on the agenda would be 1E is Commissioner Communications. What would that constitute, just for my own knowledge?
This is an opportunity for commissioners to share information that would be valuable related to the work of this commission. And as this meeting is public, it's also an opportunity to share information that will be valuable to our community related to the arts, culture, and history of West Sacramento. And I did see that there was one commissioner with their hand up, Chair Diaz.
Thank you. Commissioner Domke?
Thank you. I'd just like to let everyone know that I received a postcard in the mail today from YOLO Arts, and it's a save the date for October the 14th. They are optimistically hoping that they'll be able to do their gala, fundraising gala and art exposition. So I might want to save that date. And we have time to talk about moving forward.
May I ask what that is again, please? I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
YOLO Arts is a countywide nonprofit organization that supports the arts in Yolo County. They're based in Davis, I believe. They sent a save the date postcard just to advise that they are planning to do their annual gallery opening and exhibition in October on the 14th. So I'm sure we'll have an opportunity to meet those folks. They have new commissioners to meet, and they'll be happy. They would be happy to become and be part of the agenda. But I just thought, heads up, October 14th.
Thank you. Commissioner Gleason?
And just to clarify, the YOLO Arts Group I've been a member of since, well, a very long time. And it's based out of now, it's in Woodland. is where their offices are, and they occupy the old Gibson house, and they also have the barn gallery and 625 gallery. And Janice Purnell is one of their, she's the part-time director there. There's someone above her, and I can't remember that person's name, but Commissioner Perez, it's basically a fundraiser to, they sell shovels, and you buy a shovel and artists donate pieces of art. And you're donating that piece of art, and when they sell the shovel, that shovel has a number on it, and the number that you get, if you got number 1, so let's say there's 100 pieces of art on the for display on the wall, and you get shovel number 1, you get first pick out of that 100. If you're number 50, you're the 50th person to select what is left out of the art that has been chosen. And it's been super successful for them for a number of years. It's an amazing event. And I have been one of those artists who have donated art.
Commissioner Domke.
Thank you. I stand corrected. And Commissioner Gleason, can you confirm then that it was the 14th of October?
I can look that up. I haven't checked my mail, so I'm sure I have a postcard as well on there, but
it's October either way. Save the date. Yeah.
Thank you. Any others? Okay, seeing none. We'll move on to the consent calendar. Item number 2 on the agenda, consideration of approval of the minutes. Can I get a motion for approval?
I motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
Point of order for the clerk.
Sure.
For these minutes, Marva and I are the only ones that were on the commission at the time. Is it still across the board? How do we handle that?
It's my understanding that they would still be approved by the entire commission the same.
Great, cool.
And this is for the October 2020 regular meeting.
Oh, second? Did someone moved and correct?
I moved.
Commissioner Gleason moved.
I'll second.
Second. Commissioner Sheridan second. Okay. Roll call on the vote.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner Domke?
Aye.
Commissioner Corwitz?
Aye.
Commissioner Perez?
Aye.
And Chair Diaz?
Aye.
Thank you.
Oh, aye for me too, right? Or
I think you made the motion.
Oh, I made the seconded, right. Okay.
Okay, I have Gleason made the first motion and then Sheridan made the second. Is that correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wonderful. Moving on to the regular agenda, item number 3, final draft public art inventory 2020 update by Ms. Leek.
Good evening, Chair Diaz and commissioners, and welcome to all our new commissioners. It's lovely to see your faces again, and then of course our returning commissioners. Thank you all for serving our community. So, good evening. I am Connie Leek, Recreation Manager, and tonight I am bringing back to you the final draft of the Public Art Inventory 2020. So in October, at the last commission meeting for this commission, we had a lengthy discussion about our public art inventory, and I received a lot of valuable information to update the inventory. Tonight I am going to share with you the incorporation of that information. A little bit of background. In 2008, the City of West Sacramento Public Art Strategy was adopted. The policy requires that 1% of all construction costs of all new city facilities and parks go toward public art. So that's 1% of those projects. In February 2015, the Washington Realized Sustainable Community Strategy was adopted by City Council. And that strategy recommended the development of a Washington art plan to integrate and define the role of public art in supporting sustainable development for the Washington district. Basically, since that public art strategy was adopted in 2008, many public art pieces have been finished. It's very exciting, and we'll kind of show and review some of those in a little bit. And in 2011, that was the last time that we had sort of updated this inventory. So it was definitely due. And so we had the opportunity to update it. That was at the request of the commission. And like I said, the last meeting, it was just some really valuable input. And I want to thank our commissioners for their input and the history that was shared, and some fun stories and some great stuff. And we learned a lot, and there was a lot of editing done. So, and I want to make sure that I explain that the report, the inventory, reflects work that has been acquired through many mechanisms, including economic development and redevelopment projects, new park development, the public art fund that we mentioned, city facility and park improvements, and donations. So there have been many donations through the years, but with those donations, they are often on city parks, or the city has a responsibility to maintain them. And so for that reason, while they were donated, they are a part of this inventory. So, and then the other thing I just want to say is that this is an ongoing project. I apologize. I think I hit my mute. I get so excited, I start talking with my hands. As commissioners, I was saying that this is the inventory will be an ongoing piece of work, because as commissioners, you will be brought many projects and many pieces to consider and give input, and then as they are added to our city, we will then add them to the inventory. So this will be an ongoing thing. And the other really valuable thing that came out of our last commission meeting was the suggestion that there's a lot of other really meaningful public art that is not necessarily hadn't been funded by the city or is not maintained by the city, but it's very significant public art. And I think one of the things the commission kept talking about last time is like, let's get a list that if people get out on their bike and they head out into our community, they can take this list and go see not only the city art that has been acquired by many mechanisms, but also go see other significant pieces of city art. So with that, I am going to share my screen. Give me just a moment here. I apologize, I'm having one little issue, so let me figure this out. All right, we're almost there. I had it pulled up and then I closed it, and I should not have. So.
There it is.
Yes, now I need to get to full screen mode. There we go. Hopefully you can all see that fairly clearly. And this is our 2020 park public art inventory. So our very first city piece of public art was acquired in 1999. And the Riverwalk Water Tower was our first piece. And you can see the crane on the riverbank with the setting sun, pretty iconic. And it was a phase of the Riverwalk improvements. And that's our very first piece. So, and there really wasn't any update to that with our last meeting. So, and I do not know why it is not letting me advance my slides. Okay, our second piece was the Riverwalk Communication Tower that is at 3rd Street and B Street. And that piece was acquired, completed in 2000. And it is a steel frame structure, and it's quite tall. And as you can tell, there again is the sort of the whole riverfront graphic elements in aluminum plate that are welded onto there. And it's a pretty iconic piece. The next piece was the Delta Gardens Performance Patio. And it was actually the first use of the public art funds. You remember I mentioned the 1% of city facilities and parks putting 1% into the fund. And this was the first project that implemented that in 2008, part of the public art strategy. And basically, the city commissioned Diana Walker-Smith for design and execution, and Olga Garzon for construction support. And the piece is on a performance patio, and it has a depiction of 3 indigenous California tiger salamanders. And it has a quote from Kipling, sandblasted in the concrete, that reads, "But the glory of the gardens lies in more than meets the eye." And then there's also additional bench seating that is a part of the piece and incorporated into it. In 2009, Synergy was added to the public art, and it's a 26-foot foot tall stainless steel and bronze sculpture. And it is in River Point Marketplace. So as you head over to IKEA and the marketplace over there, you see it there. It resembles dancing grass in the wind and pays homage to the 2 rivers that nurture and sustain West Sacramento. And it was completed in 2009. And it does have a lighting system incorporated that is programmable. That does light effects in varied colorations and washes. Next is the Washington Neighborhood Monument, and this was probably one of the first ones. I got a little history lesson from 2 of our commissioners last meeting. Thank you, Denise. And we learned a little bit more about it. So the Washington Neighborhood Monument was completed in 2009, and it's a gateway monument. And it is crowned with an abstract flame. So at the top of that, that's an abstract flame. We had heard some different variations of what the abstract on the top was, but we now know that it is a flame. And it is in the easement of the historic Washington Station 1 firehouse. So if you head on over to Burgers and Brew, you can't miss this. You pass right by it. You walk by it on your way in. And it is designed to reflect the unique old world nature of the Washington neighborhood while representing the entire community of West Sacramento. And it's fabricated with a brick inlay from Clark Pacific with an 18-inch concrete seating area at the base. And that's the Washington Monument piece. This piece is Fluttering Canopy, and it was done by artist Troy Corliss. And this is inside our City of West Sacramento Community Center. It's in the stairwell. It's very beautiful, a lot of windows and the light hits it. And it was part of the public art strategy. It basically is to represent a flurry of glass leaves spiraling overhead, creating a pattern that resembles the complex assembly of a tree canopy. And it's just a really beautiful piece. And I think I've extended the offer to most of our new commissioners. I believe many of you have been inside the community center, but if you have not, I would love to take you on tour sometime. Next is baseball players. And these are 7- and 8-foot bronze statue pair. And it was originally commissioned as a part of an effort to attract a regional stadium to the area. The statues were eventually donated to the Crocker Art Museum and were on display at Crocker Park. And they were vandalized several times and they were placed into storage. And the city initiated a loan with the Crocker in return for restoration of the statues. So there was some restoration done. And the baseball players now have a wonderful home right across the street in the median of City Hall and the community center and the college and right there in the Civic Center district. And one of my favorite things is during the holidays, we light these to go on with along with our annual city holiday tree lighting event. And they get adorned themselves with Santa hats and lights. And it's just kind of a festive thing. And they become a part of our streetscape at the holidays. This piece is called Benchmark by Roger Berry, and it is at Rotary Park on Jefferson Boulevard. And it's an 8-foot tall stainless steel sculpture by Yolo County artist Roger Berry. And this was a project of the Rotary Club to beautify this very small park or parcel that is on the corner of Jefferson and Michigan. And the Rotary adopted the scrappy little park, and 2 local Rotary chapters provided the funding for the materials and built the concrete base with grant efforts by Kathleen O'Leary. Kathleen was a Rotary member, a West Sacramento resident for many, many years. And also she was with the City Redevelopment Agency. And she was a real champion of this project. And it was recommended by the commission that she be added to this piece and this description. And I really thank the commission for that valuable input. Also, Barry, the artist, is also a Rotarian, and he constructed this metal sculpture at his Clarksburg Ranch. So he also hails right here from our area. So this piece is entitled Elephant. And if you've been out to Emile Whitey Boyce Clare Park on Lake Washington Boulevard, this is a large walnut tree located adjacent to US 50 and South River Road. Was one of several trees to be removed in 2010 to make room for critical bridge district infrastructure. And members of the West Sacramento Conservancy attempted to stop the tree removal, and the parties reached a resolution in which the city would honor the tree by reusing its materials in a manner that respected the size and quality of the wood. And so basically, former city arborist Dina Kirtley worked with that group, and that was another recommendation of the commission. They understood what a important part she was of the negotiations for this agreement, and so she has been added to this as well. And an artist's drawing was held in which artists were able to enter requests for specific wood pieces, and an artist by the name of Adam Bradley received one of the largest pieces of the wood. And in its natural state, it looked like an elephant. And from there, it was then carved to become the beautiful elephant that it is now, and a climbing structure. And how cool is that it is actually meant to be climbed on. And this is a great picture. And I have to give it up to our Chamber of Commerce as well, because a lot of these pictures are actually courtesy of work that they did in an amazing issue of West Sac Works, where they featured our public art, our and pedestrian art. So I want to give it up to them because I believe this shot is actually one I got from them. So thank you for sharing. Dango at Garden Park was added in 2013, and it's a hand-built ceramic form that features intersecting diagonal wrappings around the form. And Dango actually means dumpling or closed form in Japanese, and it resembles a vase without an opening. And the technique involves the use of masking tape and colored slips to cover the freestanding ceramic forms, and wall-hung pieces with graphic motifs and markings. So it's a drip pattern with underlying geometrics, and it creates a dynamic surface that can be seen at any angle while visiting Garden Park. So if you're at Garden Park, check out the Dango. A Life's Ride by Terrence Martin, and this is at the north end of Riverwalk Park, and it is a bench that was done as a memorial for lifelong West Sacramento farmer. He was also a bicycle enthusiast, Andy Yokohama, who passed away in 2012. It was constructed out of reclaimed farming equipment from Yokohama's local farm. The artwork was constructed in West Sacramento at the metal artist Terrence Martin's workshop, Jagged Edge Metal Art. The artist uses skills in engineering, construction, permits, and uses additional crew members to ensure the artwork withstands use and exposure to the elements. So that is A Life's Ride and a memorial sort of bench at Riverwalk Park. This was added at the recommendation of our commissioners from the last meeting. This is the Bridge District Water Storage Facility at Jerome D. Berry Park. It's located at the end of the Bridge District's main thoroughfares. And we have a park there, and it has a 3 million gallon water facility. And so you can imagine this is quite large. And during development of the area in the park, there were efforts made to get community direction for the most impactful and efficient use of the park space. So it's a small site. And so due to the closeness of the Bridge District water storage tank and pump station to the park, the design team developed a park concept that celebrated the water infrastructure. So they reimagined the tank and the park feature to have an aesthetic treatment. And basically these are colorful pipes that go around its perimeter, and they symbolize the water being delivered to the surrounding community. And the pipes are backlit with colored LED lighting to continue the visibility into the facility at night. So on the right, you see a depiction of it during the day, and then you can see how vibrant it is there at night. Next is Fighting for Community. And this is a more recent edition that was done in 2016 at Joey Lopes Park on Sycamore Avenue. Former Olympic boxer and lifelong West Sacramento resident Joey Lopes is memorialized in this work as Fighting for Community. It was dedicated in 2016, and it is a laser cut steel sculpture, and it reveals a profile of Joey Lopes. The sculpture's timeless form, rustic materials, and site-related symbolism honors Lopes' courage and compassion, his hometown pride, and contributions to the community. This is our second Dango, our second dumpling. And this one is located at the barn at the on Riverfront Street. It was completed in 2017. And again, it's a hand-built ceramic form. And this is diagonal wrappings around the Dango. It has a very striped pattern here, and The large oval plate serves as a canvas for an arrangement of straight, curving, and spiraling lines, creating an interplay of abstract imagery on a three-dimensional surface. So, and just a fun little side note about this one. There's a woman who goes around taking pictures with art in our area, and she matches it to her outfits. And I saw a really fun one where she had a beautiful dress resembling our dango, and she was out there photographed with it. I'll need to look up again what her blog is, but I just thought it was so cool that she was here with our second dango in her outfit and her dress. Oh, she did it with subtile as well. So if you could imagine, she was out there in a sequiny looking thing. Subtile was completed in 2018, and it is 40 feet long and 16 feet tall. And it's a trunk-like stilts covered in 4,000 2-inch laser cut steel disc designed to flutter in the breeze. Czech artist Federico Diaz created the sculpture in Prague. Then it was disassembled, shipped, and installed in West Sacramento, overlooking the Sacramento River on the bike trail. The disc forming the sculpture reflect its surroundings in the wind, and the discs move gently and emit a chime-like sound. The dazzling hunk of metal slightly resembles a cluster of trees, a cloud, or a body of water, mirroring the changing colors and visual patterns of its environment. And that's there on the Riverfront Trail. And then there's West, which is on our Mill Street Pier, and that was completed in 2018. It turns 90 degrees periodically, announcing itself to both sides of the river. It's a kinetic art piece, and it lights up at night. And I just think it's really amazing. And I think we've all seen a lot of people have photos of themselves and take selfies or their family out there with our iconic West. And it's just a great addition piece. This is the river, and it is a poetry walk. And the poem author is Jeff Knorr, and the graphic artist was Hans Benowitz. And it's at E Street between 5th and 3rd Street, and it was completed in 2019. It's a portion of a poem by City College English professor and former Sacramento Poet Laureate Jeff Knorr, embedded in the sidewalk along 2 blocks of E Street. Knorr's poem, The River, pays homage to the Sacramento River. This is our most recently completed piece. So actually, this just got completed in this month, February 2021. And I think the commission, because I had a little bit of confusion. You Are My Sister. I had kind of tweaked that, but it does translate to river crossing. I want to communicate with you. Etanesh, and the meaning of Etanesh is You Are My Sister, Zaliki. And I appreciate the commission for making sure we got that translation correctly listed. It's at the docks between Tower Bridge and I Street Bridge. The docks have played a vital role in the history of our community, and they were points of entry where people and goods arrived. And basically, the River Crossing Project asked residents to nominate people that they would like to have commemorated. And this was nominations both from West Sacramento and Sacramento, because these 2 pieces face each other across the river, and over 650 nominations were received. And a panel of judges selected 2 names. And I need to mention that our arts commissioners were represented in the panels for the West Sacramento. And the ones chosen for, the one that was chosen for West Sacramento was Etanesh Zaliki. And her first name translates to You Are My Sister. She was an immigrant from Ethiopia. She was nominated by her granddaughter, who described her as being a stream of hope, with many references to creating a community in West Sacramento near the river. And they're glowing light boxes, and these are maritime flags or maritime symbols. And so they spell her name in the maritime symbols. So Etinesh Zeliki is spelled out in these colorful light boxes along the Sacramento River. And this was at the suggestion of the commission to add another section that were other notable public art pieces that are not necessarily city funded or maintained, but they're significant to our community. So Crossing by Roger Berry is included. It is at the traffic circle on Ironworks Avenue. It was completed in 2007. It's a 9-foot tall court and steel sculpture by Roger Berry. We've heard his name before. So this is another piece done by Roger Berry. And it was unveiled when Regis Homes opened Ironworks at the Triangle, which is a residential development off Tower Gateway near Raleigh Field. And the sculpture gives the viewer different images as the viewpoint changes. From one view, it's a pattern of rings within rings. And from another view, it transforms into a likeness of the Tower Bridge. The sculpture was created in Clarksburg at Berry's Ranch and Metal Workshop. The Muses, if you head over to Lenice's Cafe or you go to the Vet here on Jefferson, you may recognize the Muses, and they are acrylic and aluminum lighting elements that depict women dancing. This is inside the CalSTRS building at Waterfront Place. It is art glass and the design was done by Paul Hausberg. And it's tiled mosaic and made of reflective hand-blown and painted glass and tiles, and it reflects the local environment of the nearby river and the Delta. With access to natural light, the surface changes throughout the day with sunlight. The piece functions as a painting, architecture, and sculpture all at once. Hausberg's intention was to create in the viewer a moment of reflection and pause. Catch a Book. This is a really memorable piece if you go to our West Sacramento Arthur F. Turner Library. And this is a piece by Joseph Bellicera. And it is a polychrome steel structure. And it is obviously a stack of books, and they're urging everyone to catch a book. And the other neat thing about this piece is it was kind of meant to be leaned on and sat on. And I've many a time seen people out there leaning against the books, kind of taking a break, reading a book. So that is Catch a Book at Arthur F. Turner Library. Also at Arthur F. Turner Library is The Reading Tree by Kenneth Myatt. And it's a 3-dimensional sculpture, and it has 2 elements. So the stump there you see is made of concrete, and you can sit on it. And the canopy is a mobile, and it's made of steel, copper, and fabric, and it's suspended from the ceiling. And let's see, I believe commissioners, I think this was mentioned last time too, but they helped choose this art piece, and it was chosen in the solicitation process that reflected the library's service to clients and community, and included interactivity, visual elements, and celebrated literacy, books, and learning. So that is The Reading Tree. This piece, Yoloi, is by Betty Fairborn Turner Vogel Sokolich, who passed away in 2014. And she was a founding member, or a founding commissioner on this Arts Commission. And this was added at the recommendation of the commission to include this piece. And it's pretty impressive. When this was originally commissioned back in 1975. So what's my math? 25 and 21. So it's about 46 years old. This is a pretty cool old piece. And it was installed in a window at the original Arthur F. Turner branch. So not the branch that we have today or now. And she was a resident of West Sacramento, a charter member of this commission, part of the East Yolo County Friends of the Library. And she was recognized by the West Sacramento Rotary Club as Citizen of the Year. And she was a Trinity Presbyterian Church member, an active artist, and also an educator. She created this piece as a reflection of her love of Yolo County. The name of her piece, Yoloi, is the name used by the indigenous Native American tribes for reeds and wetlands found in Yolo County. So the artwork accompanied the library's relocation to Merkley Avenue as the Arthur F. Trinity Community Library and is exhibited in the lobby area. So next time you walk in the library, think about how that piece is 46 years. So that's pretty awesome. And then this is one of the latest additions. This is at the Bridge District. It's the mural at the Foundry. Lily Therens is the designer and Jeremy Stanger is the painter. And that is on Riverfront Street. And it's a residential project in the Bridge District. And Sacramento artist Lily Therens was commissioned to create a design that would be visible to the public from within the Foundry's glass-walled lobby. Therens' design encompasses the span of the Bridge District and its diverse population, attractions, and activities within the concept of this playful map. The client and artist work together to incorporate references to current and historical people and landmarks iconic of the area. So it's a really cool piece, very vibrant, and one of the later additions to the art inventory. And that brings us to where we are. And again, I would like to thank the Commission for all of their input and kind of next steps. Like I said, this will be a ongoing project. This will not be complete ever. And we will continue to add pieces to the inventory as they're brought. And certainly this next year, you will be working on and hearing about some of the next exciting pieces that will be added to this inventory. So with that, that's the final draft. And thank you for all of the input last meeting. And thank you for listening this meeting.
Thank you. Do we have any questions? Commissioner Sheridan?
Thank you. I was getting used to finding that raise hand button. Sorry about that. Just that one, I think it was second to last. The artist had the long name, about 5 names in her name. I'm wondering what size was that? Because you could see the piece in the images you had there. I'm just curious about the size. A lot of the other pieces, you get some sense of the size. There's something next to it, a child is on it. It's really easy to tell. That one, I couldn't really tell. So I'm just curious more than anything, but.
Yeah, well, and that's a good suggestion. And actually, I mean, I'm like, well, okay, with my hands, I can kind of like what I think I see when I walk into the library. But I can certainly try to add that to the description. My community center is right over there, and I can pop in and try to. And I also can email the library and see if we can get a description or find out from them on their records from the piece. So thank you for that input. Yeah. All right.
And just for, it looks as though there was a question in the chat on whether or not that was available, that what you just did on the website, and it is on the city's website, correct?
It will be. That is why we're updating it. We're going to be adding a section on public art and adding it so that people can access this document. And then as we update it, it will be updated in that section. So this final draft is going to get uploaded there. So thank you.
Perfect. Thank you for clarifying. Okay. Any other questions? Commissioner Zaki?
A thing that's remarkable about this catalog of public art is the actually from the inception of the city, because the Sokolets piece goes back so far to pre-city, but it's been a commitment for the community at every layer of elected leadership and leadership at City Hall to incorporate public art that represents, it's a good representation of West Sacramento. And so some of those pieces, and Tracy, you could speak to this, the piece in the IKEA Center that was donated by the developer. The dangos were donated by Fulcrum Properties. But the city is always, when they've gone out for grants, especially in the north part of town, a lot of that public art is related to grants that they went out to develop the community. So Tracy, can you talk about, we've been really lucky with that, but there's been a heart for that. But there's also been a commitment that it be where it is, tied to the grants that we have.
Yes. We've been very fortunate in that our current public art policy doesn't require private developments to pay into a fund, but because of the city's commitment to public art, when we're negotiating with developers for their projects, be it small or large, there's really always been an emphasis on trying to create art wherever we can, even if it's not required by a policy. And we've been fortunate to work with developers who also value public art. And so we have a lot of pieces that we've been able to install in the city as part of private development that are wonderful. But fortunately for us, with a lot of, remember, as Connie mentioned, the only projects that are required to pay into the public art fund are city facilities and parks. And we're fortunate that we're really entering kind of a build phase for parks right now. So I'm really excited because we have a handful of projects just in this coming year that all have public art components that you'll be actively involved in providing feedback and recommendations on. But we're really lucky that a lot of the grant projects that we go for, including really large infrastructure projects, have public art components as eligible components of the project. So we're able to achieve some really amazing art through large infrastructure projects like the new I Street Bridge and the current I Street Bridge deck conversion project. And that really provides a tremendous opportunity for us. So, and because there's a commitment from the city to make sure that we're integrating public art wherever we can, we always make sure as staff and as part of our community engagement process, we're getting feedback on those types of components to include into our applications and our project descriptions. So just to name a few, in the coming year, we have a new trailhead facility that's at Linden Road in the Southport Levee, grant funded, that has a public art component. I'm kind of giving you my director's update right now, but I'll just go ahead and do it. We have 4 grant applications that we recently submitted. They're Prop 68 focused grant applications. 2 are for park projects, the Westacre Park expansion and renovation, and a new neighborhood park on Fallbrook Street near the original Westmore Oaks School. Those both have public art components. We are gearing up and trying to get ready for another round of improvements at Bright Park and trying to incorporate some public art and certainly cultural celebration components into that next phase of improvements. We have the dock project that was just finished, and that was a grant funded project. And we have the Washington District as part of it, several projects in the Washington District. We will have a new neighborhood park for the 440 West project that's roughly located at 6th and East Streets. There will be a new neighborhood park with a public art feature. And we are getting ready to bring to Commission at your next meeting an update on the water tower that was in, I think maybe it was the first image in your attachment that Connie went over, a sort of renovation of that, and the cell phone tower is part of the Riverwalk North Trail extension project. So those have grant funding components to them. And so I think this year's going to be really, really busy.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Commissioner Gleason?
Is the public art strategy listed online as well? The actual strategy plan?
I will say, Connie, you may know about this, but as I saw that in the comments and I was looking for it, the only place I could find it online was actually part of an attachment to the policy and the original agenda report. So I think when we create a special public art page on our Parks and Rec website, that might be something we want to add in there. If it's there, it wasn't easy for me to find. So that means it's probably not easy for anyone else to find either. Right. But yes.
Tracy, I may have access to it. I believe it was done by Shanna Zuspan back in redevelopment. A document that's not electronic, but we could probably access that. I probably am the one person in the city that knows how to find that stuff.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry. I just want to say thank you to Connie and everyone else who worked on that, because I did sit through the first presentation or at the end of last year when we went through it and added a bunch of new components. And I understand and appreciate how much work went into this. So thank you to everyone. It looks beautiful.
Thank you. And thank you, commissioners. And we look forward to all the pieces we'll get to add in the future. Thank you.
Yes. Thanks. Okay. The next agenda item under regular agenda is number 4, consideration of resolution 20-1, setting the time and date for the 2021 regular meetings of the Arts, Culture, and Historic Preservation Commission.
And Chair Diaz, do you have access to the dates for those future meetings? Have that in front of you?
I'm looking for them. I do not have, I don't think I have them in front of me. Do I?
I can read them if you can read too.
Are these, maybe I don't. Yes, if you wouldn't mind reading them.
Yes, they're in the resolution. And so based on the updated schedule of having meetings bi-monthly, which a few years ago, the meetings were a little less frequent. So we switched to bi-monthly, and we have for this coming year, April 26th, June 28th, August 30th, October 25th, December 27th, which my recommendation is that as a commission, you may want to consider just canceling that meeting. We wind up canceling the December meeting most years because it's a busy time of year. And this actually takes place during the City Hall closure. There would be another option to pick another date in December if the commission feels like they would like to do that. It tends to be a really busy month and people are, by the end of the year, kind of happy to have one less meeting, but it's always an option. And then February 21st of 2022.
Thank you. Do we have any questions or comments on the resolution? Commissioner Domke?
I move to approve.
Commissioner Bell?
And I second that.
Thank you. Thank you. Motion by Commissioner Domke, second actually by Commissioner Bell and Gleason, both said at the same time. With that, we can take a roll call vote.
Thank you. Commissioner Gleason?
Aye.
Commissioner Corwitz?
Aye.
Commissioner Perez?
Aye.
Commissioner Sheridan?
Aye.
And Chair Diaz?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our last part 3 of our agenda, is general administration function. Item number 5, director's report. I know we went over a good portion of it. Is there anything else to add?
Yes, thank you, Chair Diaz. Members of the commission, I'll keep it very brief. I did already share most of it earlier. I did want to let you know that as Connie had highlighted in her presentation, the dock project and the public art installation was completed this month. We are having a soft opening of the public dock in March, but we're not advertising that it's available because we need to work on some updates to our municipal code as well as our fee schedule as it relates to mooring and mooring fees and permits, as well as enforcement. But we hope that technically the dock is 100% complete by the end of this month. And in recent weeks, a videographer was shooting a video to highlight the dock and the artwork. And they're working on editing that video now, and we should have a preview to review very shortly. And I just wanted to first welcome you and thank you for your interest in serving on this commission. We really appreciate your input to help us achieve our mission. We look forward to another meeting on Wednesday night, your orientation with the mayor. We tried to keep this meeting brief so that your first week of having public meetings wasn't going to be too overwhelming, but you'll learn a lot of great information in that meeting. And the council really does look to this commission for feedback, as does staff. So thank you for being willing to be our partner in this process. And with that, I think, one thing I would like to mention about the orientation is the agenda did go out, and the agenda did highlight that there will be potential breakout sessions as part of that agenda. And we will not be doing that with this commission because we already had kind of a mini orientation with our new members in advance of this meeting. And we like to do that because as a department, we oversee 2 commissions, and it makes it a little difficult for us to have those breakout groups in a virtual meeting format. So when it gets to that part of the agenda, you don't need to worry about it. So that concludes my updates.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the commissioners? Great, seeing none. Moving along to future item requests within the scope of the commission. Are there any requests from the commissioners? Commissioner Domke.
With apologies, this is related to a previous project that the Arts Commission was involved in over a decade ago. The 15th Street Fire Station was remodeled, and in the process of that remodel, it came to the Arts Commission. We helped look at palettes and design and use of space. And there was quite an active engagement with residents as it related to that firehouse, which is really was really a big community project. It's a historic building in our community. It was built by volunteers, many of whom their children that are now older adults are really still active, live here, active and engaged in West Sacramento. And to make it short, in the process of the firehouse remodel, the city acquired a little strip of property right across the street, right across that side street. So if you're headed from Jefferson on 15th towards Park, the fire station sits on the right. Then there's a side street that firefighters use to come in and out, and a little strip there that if you look at it, it looks like parking. And that was the reason for obtaining that strip. But there was also a commitment to the residents and to the families that had been, historically engaged with that firehouse, that there would be a piece of public art there. And the budget fell short way back then. And I mention this kind of annually, But this seems like a good time because we're turning around, we're seeing more. We still have some money in the fund. So as you drive, you'll see almost this, it looks like an Egyptian tomb, this big white bendy structure that now is kind of dirty sitting right there. And that was intended, that was some architect at some points vision of a bench. And the commitment to these folks was that that this would become a public art piece, that perhaps there's tile on it, perhaps there's a mosaic on it, but something happens to this so it's not just kind of a white tubular blob sitting there. That's my editorial comment about the blob part. But the commitment was made to the residents. And so it's our first commission meeting of the year. And I'm wondering if we couldn't take another look at fulfilling that commitment to people that have a historical tie to the building, but also, family memories tied to that building. It's their community. They've lived in that, in the State Streets community for generations now. If we could see what we could do about the Egyptian tomb that sits at the corner of the firehouse and 15th.
Commissioner Domke, do you recall, was it the architects that worked on the building, or was it somebody from the community that built that? It's seating, it's like a curved bench.
Yeah, no, in fact, who has a lot of information on that project is Randy Goodwin. Because he shepherded it through, the firehouse had to get updated because it was a health threat. And there was a lot of conversation about the bell, about the lights, about what was going to happen. And we talked at one point about putting something out right in front of the station. There was concern about its security there. And so the compromise, other than the paint color and the design, the compromise was that seating area. And that was kind of a placeholder. Randy Goodwin would know. Randy Goodwin is a city building official. Yes, he is official.
I see a hand raised with Commissioner Sheridan.
Thank you. Thank you, Denise, for bringing this up. I used to live over off of Meadow. I lived on Meadow, and I see that thing every day. And I remember when I first came here, I wondered, what is that? It does look like a bench. And so I always wondered what that is. So, knowing that there's a way to improve on that, I hesitate to be this harsh. I would call it an eyesore. When you drive down, it immediately you see it. It just sits there, and I didn't know what it was, and there was no, even just its shape and size. You say, okay, maybe that is a bench, but it has a lot of potential. It seems like so.
Think of it as a promise.
Right. So it's like a placeholder.
Yes.
A marker, and that makes more sense to me now. And I wonder if, I did not know about this commitment that you bring up, that it was pre-existing. So thank you for bringing that up. It's definitely piqued my curiosity.
Thank you both. I saw another hand, but then I moved. Commissioner Gleason. You're on mute, Commissioner.
There we go.
There you go.
As soon as I clicked, the faces changed. Commissioner Domke, do you know if any information on that old firehouse is in the Sacramento Firefighters Museum down in West Sacramento?
I would be surprised, but I don't.
Okay.
But I could ask there. That union are members of the chamber, and I could easily reach out to them and bring it back to the next commission meeting and see what they have.
Because I've only recently found out that through an exhibit that I'm having next month that starts in a week of fire photos, and I'm doing some stuff with Shane Grammer from Los Angeles. And then I needed some memorabilia. And Joe Pick, who's head of the Firefighters Burn Institute, we're doing a big fundraiser for them here at the gallery. And I was surprised to hear that this amazing place was literally 1.5 miles from my house, because I live near Emil Whitey Park. And I've tried getting in contact with them, but I'm not sure if the museum is open or if it's closed. Does anybody know?
I can, so if you'll send me your contact information, I'll get back to you about that.
Great.
Yeah, and do you know who might have photos of it, though? Tracy is also Randy, because he did all the preliminary work, so. Or the Historical Society.
Thank you. I see another hand. I don't know why, but they keep moving around. It's like a little bit of, there we are. Commissioner Bell.
Hi, I live in that community. I'm always looking at that silly bench. But one of the things that I do know about that little sliver of land is that it had a special reflective asphalt so that it would it wouldn't add to the global warming of things. And so I think one of the things that we should keep in mind, and I can see it being covered with tile or covered with paint or somebody doing a beautiful mural on it, but also maybe paying some homage to how to have cleaner air, how to be a more sustainable society, how to conserve energy, how to use smart technology, and something like that. Just that was just the 2 cents I wanted to add. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Some of the as we were discussing it, some of the comments around the bench and maybe some kind of mosaic or tile on the bench is that in several communities, there are mosaic artists that will ask the community to bring keys or broken pottery, or was engaging the residents in bringing like little treasures to be embedded forever in that bench that would be reflective of the fire station.
I love that. Any other comments or suggestions?
I have just a follow-up to that. So do you think, based on the feedback that was received at the time that project was happening, that the intent was that the structure that's in place now would stay and just be enhanced?
That was the intention.
Okay.
That was a base. It was like a promise. And then now what can we do with it?
Okay. Thank you for that clarification.
It's kind of like a canvas. Commissioner Gleason, you have a hand?
No, sorry.
No? Okay. Commissioner Sheridan, you're good? Okay. The only other thing I was going to ask for future item requests is on the theme of a Tamale Festival. I don't know the history of West Sacramento and any sort of festivals they've had or any sort of cultural events. And so I wasn't sure if we could do some research and maybe come back with some background in terms of what's been done before, what's worked, what maybe hasn't worked, things like that.
Yeah, we can certainly come back with some information. We're in the process right now of sort of revamping our special events. As a city, there are a few events that we take the lead in actually organizing, but for the most part, we try to leverage resources and support other organizations hosting their own events. But we have a long history as a city of sponsoring or co-sponsoring a number of events. And some of them have been great and kind of went away in the recession, and then maybe didn't return for a number of reasons. And because of COVID and us not being able to do anything right now, we're working on ways that we can celebrate as a community, maybe a little bit differently once we're allowed to. And again, looking at partnership opportunities, but also we've got some infrastructure that's available to us now and a real interest in promoting the waterfront and connecting spaces along the waterfront and in the Washington neighborhood. So we're working with economic development and housing staff to look at ways that we might kind of re-envision some of special events. So we're just doing that now. We don't envision that we'll be able to do anything this summer. We're kind of making the assumption that whatever we put together would launch in 2022. If events do start happening this summer, they'll be much smaller, and there's just still a lot of uncertainty.
Completely understandable. Commissioner Perez?
Yeah, hi. I have a question, and I don't know if it's appropriate. If it's not appropriate at this time, let me know. I have a question on terms of a role as a commissioner. Can we suggest of targeting a specific area in West Sacramento in terms of bringing art, for example, to the West Capitol area? Can we do a research on that? Can we ask, hey, we're adding where the current, all parts of West Sacramento, right? But can we talk about bringing art to liven up that corridor of West Capitol, even though, there's hotels there? And what is our role playing in that, if that makes sense?
Sure. Well, I mean, we certainly value input. We do for public art installations. We have a new art strategy or plan for the Washington district that's been a little more of a priority for us. It was a grant funded planning process, and that provides a lot of guidance for us on how and where art installations will be taking place. We don't own a lot of the property along West Capitol Avenue, and so we're pretty limited to where we can have art placement. We do have locations, especially outside the community center, that have the ability to receive certain types of art installation. But for the most part, we are pretty busy with a lot of the project-driven public art pieces, and that has been a kind of a driving force in where we focus our resources. But the public art planning effort that we had in the Washington district is something that I think would be really nice to be able to expand citywide. We've talked about that. We've talked about having an art and parks kind of program. And it's, we try to do what we can do as resources become available. So I know it's definitely something that we're always trying to be mindful of, but to actually develop kind of a standalone planning effort, it just hasn't been, a high priority for us in the more recent years.
I also want to say that the mayor just texted me and says that she likes the tamale festival idea.
Great. But yeah, I think we did talk about how it would be really nice to take what was done in the Washington district, and use that as a template for a public art strategy that could be expanded in the city. We just haven't really done much more than that at this point.
Commissioner Sheridan, your hand has been up.
Yeah, I did just want to go back to Commissioner Domke's, and it just occurred to me, I didn't get a chance to speak before we moved on. I just thought I was inspired by the idea, I think it was Commissioner Bell, who brought up the idea of bringing pieces from the community, old shards of things. Somebody had mentioned that for that spot on 15th. And I thought, wow, isn't this a good opportunity to commend our first responders and everybody who made so many sacrifices during COVID, especially since it's right across the street from the fire department. And of course, 90% of fire department calls are paramedics. So, it's just something that I thought maybe bring up with y'all, see if that could get any traction. And then also, I love the tamale idea as well, the tamale festival. And if there's a way we could, have a smaller event with the promise of a bigger annual event too, like or biannual, something that we could do like that, where we're launching an idea, see how the public responds, and then which informs the future of maybe we could expand this event. Maybe this will be a coming together of different cultures and in the folks that live here. So that's it.
Thank you. Commissioner Domke?
I'm not sure if we've lost Commissioner Perez. He may be on the phone with the mayor, but are you there? Okay. Commissioner Diaz, let me back up. There is a West Capitol Action Plan that's been in place for a while that still is in effect for the area of West Cap that goes from the gateway to I think it goes up to Harbor. That was, in fact, Aaron probably has that information because it was part of redevelopment originally worked on the West Cap Action Plan, but it is still in place. And that does include public art in it throughout, like the length of West Cap. But it is a challenge because most of that property is owned by private parties. But there's a plan, and it might be cool at one of our meetings to have somebody go over that. The Bridge District has the art that the Bridge District has because they have their own financing district. The property owners there tax themselves, goes into a fund, and that's how those kinds of things happen. And then the Washington District. So Hope Springs Eternal for West Cap. It could happen. And the Joey Lopes piece is a good example of a piece of the West Cap plan that created a park that with grant funding, we were able to put the Lopez piece in. So that's good news. Go ahead. Well, let me just finish, Peggy. And Commissioner Diaz, happy to talk with you offline about the Neighbors Fair, which was an event that ran for 8 years up on the Riverwalk Park. And there's some history in that, and I'm happy to give you a good idea of how that worked. Also, the Riverwalk Music Festival, which ran every Friday, free to the community up on Riverwalk Park. So experience has been that those are generally not city-funded events, that they're created by a nonprofit, a 501c3 produces them so that they can get sponsorships, so that the people that are donating those funds can use it as a tax deduction. Just heads up with that. The city has partnered and has been a generous partner in a number of community events. Generally, that exchange is maybe waiving fees or, police or parking support, but there is a process for that. So happy to talk with you about that. And we have the West Sacramento Historical Society has been active and engaged for longer than the city has been a city. And I bet you they would love to come and give everyone an update about what they know about, what's happening. And there is also a West Sacramento Art Guild that has been active and engaged from before the city was a city.
Thank you. I'm going to take you up on that. So look for a note from me.
You know where I am. You know how to find me.
I do. Thank you. Commissioner Sheridan?
Okay, did Peggy, you had raised your hand there. I don't want to jump the line.
I'm sorry.
It doesn't matter.
No. Okay. I just wanted to speak to Commissioner Perez's idea on West Capitol, now that we've brought up the Historical Society and that there is a pre-existing, on pause project from the past. As you probably know, all of you, that West Capitol used to be historic Highway 40 that before 80 was built. And, if you're a fan of Art Deco, of anything from those decades in terms of style, West Capitol was still is a hotel motel place, but the old signs that they used to have there, I don't know if any of you have ever seen any of the photographs from the 50s, the 40s before the freeway was built. So there's a way to pay, respect to the history of the city, and by, maybe even considering something stylized with that, 30s, 40s, 50s kind of a flair. Just thought I'd bring that up for Commissioner Perez. If you're thinking, there's so many things that could be done, but that is something that still keeps the history accurate and also maybe beautifies that area a bit more, and something to attract folks to that area.
Thank you. Commissioner Bell?
My goodness, I turned my video off. My computer is telling me that I'm a little unstable, but I just wanted to say, I think I love the Art Deco idea and the paying homage to the Highway 40. I think that's great. And you all, and Commissioner Perez, your desire to want to do something on West Cap, I think that's awesome. And the Tamale Festival, I just love all of the ideas. One of the things that I started doing a few years ago was the West Sac Annual Picnic. And I was working with Neighbors Fair and the local radio station, KYWS, and trying to see how we can maybe use that nonprofit 1030 or nonprofit to sort of. Thank you very much. I'm getting my numbers mixed up. And how we can do that to help fund some of these events, like a tamale festival, like the West Sacramento Community Picnic, and then I also wanted to say, I believe that we could probably find partnerships with some of these businesses, with some of our local communities, in order to raise funds and to inspire the arts, and to have an arts festival, or have the Tamale Festival be a fundraiser for our art stuff, for the West Sacramento Picnic to also be a fundraiser for public arts, and just really sort of finding layers of networking to really sort of make all of our dreams come true, and to make our community that much more vibrant in all of these areas that we're like, hey, I would love to see something here. Well, let's concentrate our efforts and make things happen.
Thank you. Any other comments? Commissioner Donkey?
Maybe an unintended good consequence of a pandemic that keeps us all locked up for over a year is it creates a space for us to do the research and do the planning and implement and deliver, in a thought out, organized manner. And that 501c3 is a really good idea because it is still open, and yeah, that's a good idea.
Fabulous. Any other comments? Yes.
So I just want to add, I agree. I think that we need something for West Sacramento that kind of brings us together. So growing up, we always had the Columbus Day Parade, and we had a big pasta feed that Vince Pergoli did. And it was just a big community get together, right? Everybody had fun, and it was a parade down West Capitol, and it was kind of our known thing that we looked forward to that brought the community together. And then that kind of went by the wayside. And then we had our 4th of July fireworks off of the Palmendesi Bridge. And back then it was a building that's where Riverbend Medical Associate is now. It was back then it was a different building.
It was a Chamber of Commerce.
Right. And it was huge. I mean, we had so many people. In fact, they had to stop doing it because it got too big for that space, right? And but people looked forward to that every year. It was just fun because I looked forward to it. I knew that, okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to see people that I went to elementary school with that I haven't seen in years, that even though we've all, were born and raised in West Sacramento, you don't see each other as much as you think you would. So I think we do need to, I don't know if that's, you know, the charge of our commission, but I do know that we need to bring something back to West Sacramento to kind of bring us all together and have that sense of a community in the neighborhood. And, you know, maybe it's growing on Peggy's, you know, community day picnic and adding to that. But I know we're missing, I feel, as a longtime president, we're missing something. We're missing that piece of, you know, our parade or our 4th of July. And then we tried, remember Denise and Peggy, we tried the Rice Festival down on Merkley, you know, and that didn't really take off that well. And so we just need to find that one thing that kind of gets us going.
There was the Port Fest before that.
Yeah.
It's opportunity maybe for this commission to collaborate with the Parks Commission, and maybe 1 or 2 commissioners work with 1 or 2 commissioners. But it's definitely our role is advisory to the city council. So it's never been a good idea for us to get ahead of the council and the budget and the general fund and all of those things that all, you know, but yeah, you know, really great ideas. And a way that for me, a cool thing about living in West Sacramento is that you can have an impact, and there's space to create and to leave legacy. So it's a marathon, folks. Yeah, and these are all really great ideas.
Did I see another hand?
I was going to say something.
Any other comments or questions? Or? Oh,
yes, I was just going to say, yeah, to build off of Commissioner Domke, thank you for bringing up the budget process. We know when we updated our Parks, Recreation, and Open Space Master Plan, we did a very large community engagement effort and a lot of different types of survey work. And it was very clear from the results of that engagement that the community was really hungry for some new programming events. We have some very successful special events that we do annually, like our father-daughter dance that, you know, have just been, you know, really popular. But you know, some of the events that we were focusing on, a lot of the community members didn't know about. And so we saw a really good opportunity to start thinking about what kind of events, food and music were the 2 things that came up when we asked people, what kind of special events are you interested in? And riverfront, you know, being close to the water. So I think this is really helpful information. We are trying to develop some new ideas that we can incorporate into our biannual budget process, which is starting now. We start as staff right now to develop our proposed additions or modifications to the budget. Your next meeting in April will be a really good opportunity for us to maybe get some additional feedback on that as we continue to prepare information for council's consideration in the budget. But yes, these type of events, even if we are just assisting other organizations like nonprofits, we do still have to think of budget considerations because while we may waive fees for events, the costs are still there. So we have to make sure that we plan for that. And that's okay. We just have to plan for that so that when we need police or fire to show up to support events, we've got the funding to support them being there after hours. So if we need additional park maintenance or we need additional trash service, we have planned for that. And so all of that goes into the planning and the budgeting process. So I really appreciate all your wonderful ideas. We have been talking about ways we can bring back music on the river or movies in the parks or farmers markets. You know, those are all kinds of things that we've just started to talk about and look at the space availability and parking to support drawing large crowds that could potentially, we hope, you know, would be there. So, so this perfectly timed feedback. Thank you.
Wonderful. Anything else? Commissioner Sheridan, your hand was up.
Yeah, so just got me thinking also, just real quick, if anybody, just to put toe in the water, theater in the park, parks where there's an art installation that we could highlight at the same time, you know, just spitballing something like that, you know, because that couldn't really happen until next year anyway, because of the best weather time of the year. We're kind of passing that, and we don't know even if we're even going to be able to do anything like that. So definitely, you know, since next year is where we would be going anyway. Just what do you think about that? Yay, nay, or, you know, something like that. If that's been tried before, didn't work out, that kind of thing.
Thank you. Commissioner Gleason, your hand is also up.
So in my introduction, I did not tell you who I actually work for. So I work for the Cordova Community Council. We are a nonprofit, and what we do is events. So if anybody would like to have a, you know, sit down on what it takes to pull off very large events, from Kids Day in the Park, 4th of July events, huge events, that's what we do. And I'm happy to give any expertise in that I have.
I will be contacting you. Thank you so much. Any other comments? Okay, great. I think with that, we have come to the conclusion of our agenda. We can take a motion to adjourn.
A motion to adjourn.
Motion by Commissioner Gleason, second by Commissioner Perez. Do we do a roll on the vote? Yes. Okay, we do.
Commissioner Bell?
Aye.
Commissioner Domke?
Aye.
Commissioner Corwitz?
Aye.
Commissioner Gleason?
Aye.
And Chair Diaz?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. I appreciate your attendance.
Yours as well.
And we'll see you in April.